watching Local Edition. My name is Brad Palmer. It's in the Central Valley today in Stanislaus County. Its county seat is Modesto, and I want to speak with the chair of the Board of Supervisors for Stanislaus County. His name is Terry Withrow. And when I think about this beautiful county, I think about this decade and some of the challenges that this region has faced, from the foreclosure crisis to the drought. Although here we are mid-decade, seems as if the region is doing all right. The engine is moving along. Is that a fair assessment, sir?
Yeah, I would say we've come out of this pretty well at this point. But the only reason we've been able to come out of it is because we started off a very fiscally conservative county to begin with. Right. And we were able to weather the storm because we were prepared for the storm. And
so let's talk about the storm, or lack thereof. We haven't seen many storms in this county. We want to see storms.
Right.
You're a farmer yourself, and many of your colleagues are farmers. And so I want to get a sense from you about how your farms are doing, how your constituents are doing in the wake of this historic drought.
You know, we've been blessed in this valley. We have basically 3 rivers that have serviced the valley. Really, the reason we're all here is because these rivers brought life to this valley. Our forefathers originally put in canal systems and allowed us to have water here. So we've been blessed with surface water for 100 years since that started.
But let me ask you about that surface water, because obviously in California, much of it is regulated. And even though in the San Joaquin watershed where we are today, there are very senior water rights dating back to the beginning of the last century, the State Water Board is starting to put some restrictions on those water rights, not only for senior rights holders, but for junior rights holders. And so how is that impacting you, your constituents, your fellow farmers?
So it's going to have a huge impact. There's 2 things going on. The state's came out with their State Groundwater Management Act, which is dealing with groundwater. And so we are working to try to comply with that. But our groundwater exists because of our surface water, which recharges the groundwater. So as we're trying to be good stewards of our groundwater, but in the same instance, the state is now asking to take some of our surface water from us, taking a large portion of our surface water, which will eliminate our ability to recharge our aquifers and then eliminate our ability to manage our groundwater. So we've been fine up to this point, but if our surface water is going to go away, if they're going to ask for a large amount of our flows to increase and go down the river, then it's really going to inhibit our ability to farm, to manage our groundwater, and the groundwater to be used for our urban areas.
So where do you go from here? Because the curtailment orders are in place. Are they so severe that we are at risk of what you described?
Right. At this point, there hasn't been a final decision on the surface water, and we've been trying to do everything we can to lobby, and our legislative representatives from this area have been working hard to try to minimize the impact of that increased flows, which will take more of our surface water and send it down the river.
And is it being sent down for environmental purposes or for ag purposes?
It's for environmental purposes. You know, you hear a lot of times around the state that urban use of water is 10%, and that 80% of it is used by the farmer.
It's 80% of what humans use.
Right, exactly.
As I understand it, about half is for the environment?
Exactly. And so everybody is having to take cuts, and we get it. We all need to do our share to get us through this hard time. But the environment has to give its share too. It has to have a skin in this game also.
So here's the challenge that we face as Californians. When lawsuits are brought, usually federal judges of all stripes, conservatives and liberals, they look at the law and they say, the Delta smelt wins.
Yeah.
Even though there's been 1 Delta smelt found in the last year or so.
Right.
And so without change in law, it becomes very hard for the environment to give.
Yeah. And I can tell you, I live that Delta smelt. We farmed down in Firebaugh.
Oh, so you know.
Yeah, and we planted almonds down there about 10 years ago. At the time, there were a certain set of rules, certain allocation of water was going to happen. The whole Central Valley project was put together, built to get us through times like this. But then the wrench that was thrown into it was when all of a sudden they decided this little Delta smelt was crucial to the ecosystem of the whole world, apparently. And so then the pump started to get shut down, which then limited the amount of water that got allocated to us down there, and it changed the game.
So what do you make of, I guess I'll call it the Bay Delta Conservation Plan? It's a different plan than what it was a year ago. The governor, is very excited about the possibility of adding pumps or more pumps around the delta. He's not able to engage in the habitat restoration he had hoped. What's your sense?
I think there's a happy medium that we can all meet at, and not all to one side. Extreme on either side is a loss for all of us. But we've got to get everybody to meet to that sweet spot and get in that middle spot. I think the plan that they have out there still needs to be tweaked, and I think there's a way we can get to a spot where everybody can live happily ever after.
I want to ask you about almonds or almonds. I like how people say it differently. You know, you read what's on the internet, you read what's on Twitter, on Facebook. Almonds is the scapegoat this week. It's, you know, a gallon to grow one almond.
Yeah.
When I go back to my cocktail parties with my friends and they ask, you know, oh, you're a news anchor, what is it with these almonds?
Yeah.
Why are they taking so much water? Give me some ammunition.
Yeah, that's crazy. The amount of water that's used, an almond crop, let's not take it to an almond, let's say to the acre feet of water that's used on that ranch. And a normal 3 acre feet it takes for almond crop. You know, corn, if you look at corn, what it takes, or other crops, alfalfa.
Marijuana.
You know, yeah, unbelievably amount, at least double that amount of water is needed for those crops. It's funny, my daughter who works up in San Francisco at Pricewater was at a party, one of those parties you're talking about, and she was just standing there silently as these people talked about, let's have this ban on almonds, let's stop eating almonds. And I said, why didn't you stand up for us? What are you doing?
It is tricky.
Yeah, but it's the scapegoat, and it's so funny. The farmer has always been golden. You know, they're what this country was founded on. It's what it's just kind of an independent attitude of the farmer. And now all of a sudden it's not the farmer. It's become the rich farmer. And it's become the rich farmer who's raping the land. And it's just amazing how it's been distorted. And it's really just not fair.
I want to shift gears a bit and talk about some of your other constituents that have been facing difficult times through the economic downturn, through less jobs on the farms. Some of those folks, for whatever reason, may turn to crime. And I know that you and your colleagues have been working to prevent that through a program called Focus on Prevention. You're really looking to create a community, a village, if I can use that cliche, to prevent crime. Not intervene after it happens, but prevent it before it starts. Talk to us about your program. We've
started a program which is a real paradigm shift in what's going on in pretty much in government. But as I first got involved in this politics, fun stuff that we're doing, I don't know what happened
to you. You were doing well as a CPA.
I went south. We realized that we're constantly just putting Band-Aids on cancer. We're constantly treating the symptoms, never getting to the disease. So we've decided we want to go to the root cause. We want to start getting down to the beginning.
See, it always goes back to roots.
Yeah, it does. It's back to farming again.
And so what are the root causes in your mind?
Well, we think that it's the breakdown of the family unit. And not going to judge on what that family unit should look like, you know, because that's not the point. You know, the house is on fire and we're not going to argue about who's going to put out the fire. We just need the fire to be put out. And so we're looking for someone to raise a child and get them up through high school, graduate from high school, either go on to some sort of tech prep school or college.
What can we do? I mean, if there's a single mother, a single father, you know, as I understand it, you're looking to bring in 10 separate constituencies to help, like you said, build that family in the broadest sense. That family could include a church, it can include a sport team, whatever that may mean.
Right, and we don't think that government can do this.
Right. I
think that government probably, not intentionally, but has enabled this problem and actually made it worse.
But is government one of those 10 constituencies?
Government is one of the 10. Okay. What we're doing in our county here is we're working really as a facilitator here. We're working to bring everybody together. The one thing I've learned in this position is you're able to get people to return your phone calls and show up at a meeting.
That's true.
Because of the power that we have, you know, in our positions here. So we just want to bring people together, get them in a room, and we have so many smart people, so many good people in this community that want to do the right thing. A lot of them are competing against each other.
I wish you the best of luck on that. We'll be back in the Central Valley soon, and next time you'll bring us almonds.
We will.
Or almonds.
We will.
Either way.
We'll have those
His name is Terry Withrow. He is the chair of the Board of Supervisors in Stanislaus County. My name is Brad Pomerantz. In Turlock, California, this is Local Edition.